Hi, welcome back to the restoration of my 1986 Saab 900 Turbo 16S Aero, or SPG if you're in the States. This is just another follow-on from my last video, which we tackled the fuel pump and the block strainer in the back. Now, good news and bad news. Uh, Good news is, after running the fuel through, I took off the top of the fuel regulator hose, again, double purchase. I think 17 and 14, but you'll have to check that. Uh, that helped bleed it, or bleed the fuel rail, and after 3 short attempts, she fired up. Absolutely. Got that lovely Saab 900 burble, fabulous. Then tried to start her again, and I don't know what's gone wrong, but on the starter motor down here and the thrust gear, or the old type fashion bendix, the bad news is we've slightly stripped the flywheel. I don't know if you can see that down there where it's silver. Now, I haven't got the starter motor off yet, which I believe is 2 bolts at the front, 2 at the bracket. Obviously disconnect your positive from your battery. To get to it, there's one on top of your airbox is a Torx 10 screw, which takes out your main airbox, which is there, filter. And what else I've done is taken the intercooler pipework off, and I'm going to start stripping all this because I've got no clutch. The clutch pedal was solid, because looking back at the tax disc, this car's not been on the road for 15 years. So I thought it was about between 9 and 12, but it's not. So basically, with the clutch, what I think's happened is, I think that when I pressed the pedal, it just went bang. Now, I thought it would probably one of the hydraulic pipes. Your clutch master cylinder is down here, and it's quite hard to see. It's underneath your brake cylinder. But with this being a right-hand drive UK model, from the clutch pedal to the master cylinder is a linkage that runs behind the dashboard. Now, to get to that, you need to take the knee kicker plate off, the knee protection plate, and that's, obviously this car is well before airbags or anything like that. So to get to the take the kicker plate off to get access to the pedals, because I think possibly it's either one of the connections from the linkage to the piston on the master cylinder could be a seized up slave cylinder, which is obviously down here. There's your bleed nipple. There's your line coming in, the line, and it's fed from underneath the brake master cylinder. That's where it gets its fluid from. It's a shared master reservoir, not master cylinder, shared reservoir for the brake master cylinder. So brakes this side, clutch is fed down to the slave cylinder, and also the clutch master cylinder via a set of pipework. So I thought it was probably a blown pipework, but it's not. I'm thinking it's more the linkage. Now, to get the knee kicker plate off, obviously, Saab designed these to be like strong as houses before airbags. The knee kicker plate protected your knees, and hence why that the ignition key is in the floor, because again it was a crash protection thing to stop you from smashing your knees on the steering lock, which again is a good idea, and also it locks in reverse. So years ago, when the car was on the road, somebody did attempt to steal it, and it's probably a 2-hour job to get to the special 3-post bolts, which you need a special tool. You can grind down a 10 or 11mm socket to get that off, but I'll show you that in the next video, possibly. To actually take the kicker plate off, there's 2 10mm screws, one either side, right down here. You probably can't see it, but it's there, sort of where the end of my finger is. One there, one exactly on the other side, and behind the ashtray. And I think you've got to take the centre console, the parts of the centre console out. There's one hidden behind the ashtray, and then the lower kicker plate, which is I can quickly show you. There's the knee protection plate there. So all that should come out. Say there's a bolt in behind the ashtray, and all this should come off and give you access to the pedals, because I need access to that the bar that runs behind the dashboard and connects the clutch. So a bit of a stalling, or a bit of a stall for me. I say I've got to get this starter motor off, and I've got to assess how bad this flywheel is. But obviously I can't compress the clutch, because at the moment I haven't got any. The slave cylinder or the clutch system isn't working. So before I start even taking the front end off, I really want to get this engine running, so I know when I take the front end off, I'm not messing about with any engine problems. Always block up your intake lines with something, a bit of packing and a neoprene rubber glove or some gaffer tape or something like that. You don't want any mice going in here. I mean, if that's what these are going. When this comes off to get access to the clutch, these are going directly to the turbocharger, and a mouse in there who's like throwing a chicken into a jumbo jet engine, and you really don't want that. So, as far as getting the car sorted, I'm running a bit behind. So I say just quickly, it was this that I took off, which is there's the return underneath from the fuel pressure regulator. I took this off, and it sort of bled some air in, or bled the air out, and she fired up straight away. So maybe that's a good fix. Obviously, the end of your banjo is there, but you've got that little bit into the fuel regulator. So I did it there. It was easier to get to, and it seemed to have bled out the old fuel, and the engine started, but now the starter motor isn't engaging, so that's to come off. Now going in, but I'll leave that one there. Going into Steptoe's yard again, I've just been doing a few little bits and pieces. I've just been playing about with the bumper. Now, just a quick tip: if you're ever messing about with any rust cure or anything like that, always decant a tiny drop into a separate container, because if you keep dipping into this stuff, you contaminate it and it'll go off. I mean, this is the Hammerite Cure Rust. It's pink normally. You keep dipping into that with a brush, you're going to contaminate it. It's going to lose its properties. So I've been messing about on the bumper. I had a slight bang in this corner. Now it was raised on the front lip, but also dipped in the plastic. Now what I did, I got my heat gun and I gently warmed it up. For God's sake, it's plastic, don't melt it, just gently warm it up. And I screwed 3 screws into the dip, clamped the high part of the bumper, clamped it down with just a clamp on the front edge like that, and then while it was cooling off on the 3 screws, I pulled up to bring the dent out, and it's worked fantastic. I've just got some flexible filler in it, a very light skim. Again, with your fillers, it's always best to put a very fine skim on, DA it off with or flat it off with your sanders. I just use an air a Mercer DA sander. DA it off, find out your highs and lows, and then apply some more. You don't need a lot, especially with filler. They always used to say a golf ball to a pea of hardener, but in warm or hot weathers, you need very, very little hardener to activate the filler. But don't throw loads on, just nice skims. Only takes 5-10 minutes to go off. flat it off, find your highs and lows, and skim it again. So this is ready now to just flat off. I'm going to put some plastic primer on the top, and then I'm going to leave it because, well, I might, depending on the weather. I have been held back. That's why my video's got late going out. It's been absolutely throwing it down here in the north of England. So what I will be doing is getting this somewhere near, because there's quite a lot that needs to go down here, there, and everywhere. I'll get it in primer and then store it away. It's not an important job. What now? Another positive as well. I did put a link onto my descriptions for a PayPal to buy me a brew, and an anonymous chap, and we'll call him. Well, his name was Lewis H. He's donated me a brew, and I hope he doesn't mind. And I think it's well worth it. What I've done is invested in a couple of polythene sheets, because obviously I'm working on the drive. When I take the bonnet off, I'm going to need some sort of basic sheeting, because I haven't got a garage, and I can only spray or fix in good weather. So thank you very much, Lewis. You're an absolute star. Those will come in really handy for covering the car up over the winter. Just one final thing before I cut this video off and start the work on the clutch. Getting ahead of myself, and I've just been messing about with some of the pipe work. I mean, I love that. I mean, I don't know. I think the older ones after '86 didn't have the lettering on it of the turbo intercooler. But when this car was new, however much it cost, 20,000 quid when it was new in '86. I mean, looking under the bonnet and seeing that must have been absolutely fantastic. So I've rubbed all this back. It's the original hoses. I'll probably get new clamps. I've just put them in galvanised paint. This is VHT, high temperature, 300 degree plus paint and lacquer. So obviously, anything under the engine, you're going to need the VHT paint. So that's basically about it. Like, again, thank you so much, Lewis. You're a star. Anything that is donated that way, I'm going to spend on the car, and obviously that'll hopefully make for a faster restoration once I get the front end off. So clutch it is next. I'll try and inform you. Like I say, I'm not doing so many processes in these videos because, I mean, apologies, I shoot them and I upload them. I don't edit them at the moment. I haven't got the time or at the moment the brains for editing. So what you see is what I do basically. So I hope this is again a little bit of an update to show you where I am with the restoration. Big setback with that flywheel and clutch. Really upset about that. But sorry, flywheel and starter. But I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? At least the car is now running, even though I can't start the bugger. But right, I'm going to leave that there. Take care. Thank you. See you in the next one.